Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Guilty as Charged. I am your host, DreadnautX. With me, as always, I have the long-lost stepbrother of the Dudleys, Chips Dudley. On tonight's episode, we discuss the September 20th, 1994 episode of Hardcore TV, which features our world champion Shane Douglas in singles action, as well as our television champion Jason, as he battles former Mullet member, the Rockin' Rebel. Things are definitely about to get extreme. Episode 4 starts now.
Extreme Championship.
Hello everyone and welcome to Extreme Championship Wrestling!
The franchise, Shane Douglas, is the man who ignites the new flame of the sport of professional wrestling.
Prepare yourself, big boy, because I'm Taz, the world television champion. Beat me if you can, Bam Bam. Survive if I let you.
So tonight, let the new era begin. The era of the sport of professional wrestling. The era of the franchise. The era of the E.C.W.
E.C.W, we're gonna give you the most bang for your buck. We're gonna break every effing rule in the business. And for that, I promise you, we are guilty as charged.
Alright, man. Welcome. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. Just been, watching some extreme wrestling and some extreme adverts, so all the best things, really.
Yeah, man, we were always getting our fair share of like awesome adverts in these episodes, I tell you.
Yeah, we have sort of a lot of repeated ones that we've seen more than once, and we'll definitely get into that as we go. But there's always a couple of new ones that are quite interesting thrown in there to discuss. And I guess also wrestling's quite important too.
Yeah, it's coming up there. We have some in the next couple episodes. We have some new ads, so you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
This
episode had a lot of everything. We had a lot of wrestling, a lot of different matches, a lot of introductions to new people, and a lot of feuds continuing. It's been a really good episode. I enjoyed this one a lot. Sort of spoilers going forward, I guess.
Yeah, it's quite. We still get a little bit of recap and stuff, but it's definitely got quite starting to get more like. You're starting to get like, okay, well, here's a bit of what's been going on last week, and here's this week. Like, we're starting to get more of a bit of a format than the last couple episodes have been kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's more like it's the level of recap you expect from wrestling is where we're at this point, instead of those like the second and third episode were just sort of half recap.
Yeah, like 75% recap. So this episode is the September 20th, 1994 episode. I think if you go on the WWE Network, it's episode 75, 78. You'll have to check. I checked last week, and I was going to write it down, and it's like, I think the way they number them, it's like, 70, 75 or 78 or something. But it's the August 20th episode, so...
So it should be pretty easy to find regardless, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, once you hear the review and stuff, or from now on, I'll go on the network and grab the number, and I'll just put it in the description of the podcast to make it a bit easier for people.
Sure, sounds like a plan.
So. All right, so this week, opens up, and we start off with a Shane Douglas recap.
Yeah, this recap was sort of our usual recap, but I mean, we had the recap the other week where it was sort of like recording a TV that was playing it, and it was kind of weird. And this time, the weird way they did it was that parts of the recap were sort of at an angle and like tiles on a floor.
It's like they hit the wallpaper button on their computer, and it's like we see like 20 Shane Douglases all in little tiny videos.
Yeah, so E.C.W seems to be doing a good job of keeping these recaps fresh by using different weird editing techniques.
Yeah, they were ahead of the curve back in '94, man. They were pushing the boundaries of video editing and video technology back then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I appreciated it. It was really weird, and that was enough to keep me interested in seeing this for sort of the 8th time at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, so we get the recap of him throwing down the belt, whatever. And then we get a Shane and Doink promo, and so he goes by what's his name? Born Again? No, where'd I have it? Born Again, right?
Yeah, it was Born Again because his surname's Bourne, is it not? Is he Matt Bourne? I can't remember.
Yeah, I had it written down here somewhere, but
yeah,
but yeah. Yeah, so anyways, I think it's Born Again is his name he goes by.
Yeah, and we see quite a bit of him in this episode going forward as well. He's pretty prominent here.
Yeah, for sure. So he's he's like Shane Douglas's muscle or right-hand man.
Yeah, it's a really odd pairing, but it sort of works in an odd way.
Yeah, for sure. So then we cut to the our new E.C.W intro, and then we get taken right into the Joey Styles sitting in the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah, I'm not going to get sick of this intro anytime soon. It's a good intro, really, and I really like how prominently Jason features as well in his weird suit.
Yeah, he's got quite the wardrobe going. He's like lying down posing for like a Playgirl or something.
Yeah. Well, if anyone can pull it off, it's the sexiest man in wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. So then we go into another recap. It's from the tag team match that we got most of the match last week, and here we're just getting a recap of Mikey Whipwreck pinning Flyboy Rock and so him and Cactus winning the tag team belts at the tournament.
Yeah, and sort of leading on from that, we get another tag team match from our champions taking on young Chris Kanyon, and was it Dino Sendoff?
Yes, Dino Sendoff. Yeah.
Now, I have no idea who that is, but I am aware of Chris Kanyon, and I liked his weird sort of tie-dye symbol that he had on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you remembered Chris Kanyon from WCW.
Yeah, someone I've sort of come across a few times. Not like I'm not hugely aware of that much of my WCW history.
Right.
He's definitely a name I know, and but he doesn't normally look so young and tie-dyed.
Yeah, he's a tall man. He's apparently like in the WCW days, he was really big on like innovating new moves. Like
that's really cool.
Pretty well known for like coming up with brand new moves.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a big name in wrestling that you still hear today, fairly regularly brought up, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's that's funny because Cactus Jack does the bang bang, and then Mikey does it, and then Joey Styles says, "Careful, Mikey, you might shoot yourself in the foot."
Oh, poor Mikey, still being treated like the child here. I mean, he's a very talented child, but he is obviously the he's the baby of the group.
Yeah, he does. He does take quite a bit of the beating to get the heat on him. That's for sure.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, it works though. It definitely works for him. It's always entertaining to watch. But yeah, this match doesn't really go on for too long before we get an interference.
Yeah, the Public Enemy run down and start laying the boots to Cactus Jack.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a brutal beatdown on sort of, and a bit of a brawl going all over the place with Cactus Jack and Mikey getting involved, and eventually Cactus sort of manages to turn the tables a little bit, doing sort of a double DDT on both of them. It's like a really cool brawl. The match just sort of goes out the window at this point, and just lots of fighting between these two and feuding going forward, I imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty much the the normal as it is with E.C.W, whereas one match kind of like ends and then somebody runs out and then another match starts. But we don't get a match here, but we get Cactus Jack throwing Mikey around a little bit, using him as a human dart.
Yeah, we get Mikey just taking as much of the trying to be saved as much as possible by Cactus, and a lot of beatings going on. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, the match sort of comes to a pretty swift conclusion. Well, non-conclusion, I guess.
Yeah, they pretty much just grab each other and they pretty much just brawl all the way to the back.
Yeah, and it may seem like quite far into the episode to finally get our first ad break.
Yeah, we get some pretty good. We get our usual solo flex erotic ads.
Yeah, this is the first of, I think it was maybe 4 times this episode we got a solo flex ad. So
we're gonna have to start a solo flex check and keep track of how many times we get to see this ad.
At the amount we mentioned solo flex, I think we should be sponsored, to be honest.
I agree. After this episode, I'm gonna look up solo flex and tell them we need some royalties.
Yeah, and hope that they are still a company that exists.
Yeah, so we got a fairly new ad here. We got one for the sports channel,
which is just all about balls. It's just lots of ball jokes, talking about little fuzzy balls.
Yeah, that's what I put here. Lots of balls, no balls. Yeah, they even make a joke saying, "Oh, all these balls," and they say, "Oh, boxing's got no balls."
This was amazing. This sells sports to me. I'm not usually someone who's going to be sold into anything to do with sports, but if you just make it all about balls, why not?
If you like balls, we have sports for you. So you must have been fully into the Triple H versus Randy Orton feud then, eh?
Oh God,
they had lots of balls.
No, it's not the same.
There's lots of ball talk there.
There was too much balls. It's only funny if it's not Triple H and Randy Orton, I guess.
Yeah. It's only funny when they don't hit you over the head with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so then we get our typical Ford ad and jewelry ad, and then we head back to the ring here and see Too Cold Scorpio coming out.
Yeah, he comes out, we get a promo. It cuts to a promo backstage with him sort of putting Shane over for being the better man on the night, but also saying that he still wants to come for the title, and he can't believe that sort of what Shane did, but also seems to be kind of respectful of it as well. Like Shane Douglas still sort of having this non-heel role partially as part of this sort of period of time where everyone has to say that he kind of did something badass, even though he's the main villain. Yeah,
he did a good job of putting him over, but he was still spitting his rhymes.
Yeah, and he's so charismatic. He's great to watch in these little backstage segments.
Yeah, he is really good.
But yeah, that's leading into the match with him against Stormin' Mike Norman.
I was hoping you'd catch the name of this guy.
Yes, I did. How can you forget such a great name as a name that rhymes the word Stormin' and Norman?
And you got some pretty good... he doesn't have a full, huge mullet, but he's got quite the rat tail going.
Yeah, he does. Was he the guy who had like a flat top as well?
He has a completely flat top, and then he's got the rat tail as well.
Oh, that's a serious look right
That's
there.
the best of both worlds. He's got like the Lance Storm on top, but yet the rat tail in the back.
Yeah, just combine two of the greatest hairstyles. It's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this sort of led into just another really good showcase of how great Too Cold Scorpio is in the ring, and all his cool high flying offense and all his, just great moves going around. And I mean, it wasn't that long of a match, but you got to see a lot of great spots in it, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. It gets Too Cold Scorpio sort of well and truly into the title picture, because he wins here with his Scorpio Splash, and yeah, just a lot of fun. I really do like Too Cold Scorpio a lot. He's very much one of my favorites at the moment in our ECW timeline.
Yeah, his style and stuff, man. That moonsault, the splash. He's got like another one too where he like hits them with the leg off the top, and it looks really good.
Yeah, no, all his moves are just really fun to watch, and he's a great performer in the ring, and then his promos, like we were just talking about, are always great as well. Like, he's absolutely the full package.
Yeah, and they were mentioning that Shane and Too Cold goes for the title on October 1st, but the night before he's got to go against Born Again, which is Doink. So he's got
that's cool. Yeah,
he's got to get through Born the night before his title shot. So
that's a cool way of sort of building up to it, having the henchman have the fight with him first. That really works well.
Wear him down first. Yeah, so
nice.
they gave us like a little card update for this October 1st show, and man, it's got quite the card. It's got Shane versus Too Cold Scorpio for the world title. It's got Sabu versus Benoit.
Our first taste of Sabu, I imagine, then.
Since we've been watching, It's got Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck versus the Public Enemy for the tag belts.
Nice.
And then it's got Sandman versus Dreamer for the I Quit match.
Damn, yeah, that's really stacked. That's pretty much all the best feuds.
Yeah, and that's going. Like a house show. Like,
damn.
Yeah, so then we go into some more awesome ads here. We get a cool new one. It's
oh yeah,
the log.
The Log Home Living magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, this is exactly the sort of advert you want for something completely off the wall that couldn't be less related to ECW.
Yeah.
Because everyone who watches ECW really wants to build their own log home and see the floor plans of other people's
Have you
home.
ever thought about building and maintaining your own log home? Well, now you can for $19.95.
And sorry, let me stop you there. Have I ever thought about that? No, literally never.
Hey man, you never know what you think about in the 90s.
I mean, if I was watching ECW at the time, who knows how many log cabins I'd have built by now.
You see, exactly. You could be like a carpenter.
Well, that's unfortunate because it didn't really happen.
Oh, so then we come back and we get a recap here of the past events. We get a last week on ECW recap here. It shows Jason turning on the Rockin' Rebel for no problems of his own.
Yeah. We got to see the fallout, and that led into our next contest, I guess.
Yeah, so we go here, and it's this one's a title match, is it not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was almost over too quickly to realize. But yeah.
The other thing I noted here was when you see Joey Styles there talking, you see the size of his headset. It's like twice the size of his head.
That's the 90s for you.
Big phones and big headsets.
Everything's bigger in the 90s.
Yeah, so then we get the match here between Rockin' Rebel and Jason, which is the champion, and of course he's accompanied by Dean Malenko.
Yeah, we got Dean Malenko again here to potentially ruin the Rockin' Rebels day like he did last time.
Yeah, so of course Dean Malenko, cheap shots, Rock and Rebel, while Jason's got the referee turned around and pretty much snaps his arm, gives him like an arm breaker before the match even starts.
Yeah, and then because of that, once again, in true Jason style, we have a very short match where it's over almost before it begins, and he puts his feet on the ropes to get a pin pretty early on and gets to retain his title.
Yeah, for sure. He, works over the arm and cheats for the win to get it, so...
Cheats before the bell and during the bell. It's all just cheating all the time for Jason.
Yeah. But hey, he's a champ, so what can you say?
Yeah, very successful. Can't deny it.
Yeah, so that takes us into another ad with another double shot of Soloflex.
Of course, that's 3 so far.
Yeah, it's cool because they go to a spot here where they're talking about the phone line, and they mention that Gabe Sapolsky will be on the E.C.W. Action Hotline.
Yeah, they do. Gabe Sapolsky, obviously, of is it Evolve?
Yeah, was he formerly Ring of Honor as well?
I believe that's right. Yeah. So just a big name in wrestling to just happen to hear in 1994 E.C.W. And I thought that was really cool, and we got a recap as well of the next of the speech that Douglas gave after he threw away the belt, and Cactus coming in with his tag title to congratulate him, and it sort of has a focus on mentioning how how much more real wrestling is in Japan, and how he's obviously wanting wrestling to be a serious sport as part of his big gimmick at the moment, and because of that we get our next match with a Japanese import I had never heard of before.
Yeah, he was the one that was in the tournament. So
is that right?
Yeah, he's come. He lost in the first round to the tournament, but he's back now here with Shane Douglas in his first title defense.
Yeah, so it was Shane Douglas versus Osamu Nishimura.
And Too Cold Scorpio is out here looking on as well.
Yeah, and Born Again in the corner of Douglas as well.
Yeah.
So everyone's around for this match, and but despite that, we don't really get anything in the way of interference. It's just sort of a nice, classic, technical, enjoyable match that just sort of goes fairly long, but is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Shane Douglas's matches are he's very like a slower pace, like a very methodical, very technical. Almost reminds me of like a Triple H style.
Yeah, he does it really well. He's really good at these matches. That he keeps them interesting, and it's always fun to watch it, even though it's not say as flashy as a Too Cold Scorpio match.
Right.
It's really enjoyable, and I really enjoy watching him wrestle, and his character as well, like him and then obviously going forward with the feud still being him and Scorpio. That's sort of like a match made in heaven of perfect heel, perfect face, and then flashy guy versus
technical. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's a pretty standard match. Like I said, a pretty technical match, and Shane picks up the win with the I guess kind of like the perfect plex, I guess.
Yeah, definitely with the suplex with the leg hooked, and really cool end to the match. Wins clean, which I guess makes sense when it's against someone who's not as big a deal. It's nice to see him able to get victories, not just through cheating. It sort of puts him over as being a actual good wrestler, as well as someone who's willing to break the rules.
Yeah, it gives him like a bit of a legitimate, a little bit of legitimacy to his title reign, where he's can actually get wins without being interrupted all the time, unlike Jason. Yeah,
no, I like that a lot, and I think Douglas needs that more, because he's not like a like chicken shit heel. He's he will cheat extra because he can, and but he doesn't necessarily need it. It works well for him, and especially in the the higher up title on the card, it makes sense to have that as the character too.
Right. Yeah, like we'll get. I find the difference between him now and like later on when he kind of forms the triple threat. We get way more like the flashy, cocky, arrogant Shane Douglas than we even get here, which is quite a treat later on.
Nice. I'm really excited to see Shane Douglas throughout ECW because he's just one of those names I hadn't really gotten a chance to check out, and I already think he's great. So just seeing his whole time through ECW, and I know how much of an influence he is on that, promotion for such a long time. It's really cool.
So after the match here, we get a bit of a promo from Osamu.
Yeah, so we have Douglas is sort of saying it's don't worry, you don't need to be ashamed because you lost to Shane Douglas, and it's like cocky but also vaguely respectful.
Right.
And then Nishimura takes the mic, just in Japanese, gets all in his face and just shouts him down basically, and just isn't happy with that at all.
It quite caught me off guard. It's like, even Shane too. Shane's just kind of looking at the belt and looking at him. And he's like, I don't know if he understands what he's saying, but it's like, he definitely wasn't too happy with what Osamu had to say.
Yeah, just all came a bit out of nowhere, but pretty cool. It was it was definitely startling though. I'm with Shane there.
Yeah, it's shocking. So we get so Too Cold Scorpio was still looking on there, and he heads to the back. No interference, like you said.
Yeah, all just a really fun title match to have in the middle of the card, and good to watch. But do you know what's more important than a title match? It's our fourth solo flex ad.
Well, we got some good ads for this commercial break.
Yeah, we had a healthy eating cookbook, I think the advert was for, where it was just a lot of foods and
weird people eating them.
Weird people eating foods. There was one guy eating spaghetti with a fork that rotated it for him, and
that poor old lady with the rotating bowl that wouldn't stop moving. It was quite the ad.
Which all of this perfectly advertises a book that you might want to buy with recipes in. Totally connected.
Let's not barely show the food at all. Let's just show these weird people not eating.
Let's just the perils of eating and not anything about what might actually be quite good food. We'll never know.
Then we get a Philadelphia 76ers celebrity golf tournament.
Yeah, you've got to book in advance for that. Apparently, those tickets are selling fast.
I don't know. They must not have been doing very good in their. That's basketball, right? 76ers.
You may be asking the wrong person. Probably.
That's pretty bad. Neither one of us knows that, but I'm pretty sure it's basketball.
Yeah, probably. That's fine. It's definitely basketball. I'm putting it here right now. 100% basketball.
All right. If you want to send a correction in, you can send them into GuiltyasChargedPodcast.
Definitely, but you won't need to because it's 100% basketball.
All right, we'll take it. We'll take your word for it.
You shouldn't.
Then I think we come back, and is this our first singles match with Taz?
I think we saw sort of a really short clip of it in one episode. We saw a short Taz match clip, but it was really brief. I think it was so brief we might not even mentioned it on the episode. But we had a Tasmaniac versus Ray Odyssey, who is some sort of surfer in a wetsuit.
Yeah, it's one thing to have your gimmick be a surfer, but this guy goes all the way. He's got the straggly bleach blonde hair. He's got the full wetsuit on. Yeah, it's quite the look to this guy.
Yeah, so we have a surfer versus caveman basically.
I know.
In early Taz time, it's completely bizarre. But I mean, the match itself, outside of the fucking weird gimmicks is a lot of fun. Like, Ray Odyssey is this like high flying guy who hits really fun big moves, does some like full on like planches to the outside and this like weird somersault kick and all sorts. He's a lot of fun to watch, and Taz is just, I mean, no surprise here, but Taz is super fucking physical, like absolutely brutal.
Yeah, like rams the back of his head into the railing, hits him with a couple chair shots.
Yeah, just very physical, and ends up being the dominant winner here, really.
All in a day's work for the Tasmaniac.
Yeah, definitely. It's it doesn't really last too long. We have quite a bit of offense from Odyssey, but then when it gets down to it, Taz hits his big suplex, his Tazplex, I believe it's called, and scores the win. And Taz getting a big victory over a popular wrestler that we all know and love, Ray Odyssey.
Yeah, he like you said, he had that top rope front flip kick, whatever it was. It looked pretty good. Even his top rope drop kick, they both look pretty good for a guy his size and wearing a wetsuit.
Oh, definitely. Like, I don't know how easy it is to maneuver in a wetsuit, to be honest. I can't imagine it's ideal wrestling attire, but he made it work.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Taz hits the Tazplex and gets the win. And we kind of see the first mention here of, we can see a sign that says Taz the Suplex Maniac, which kind of, we all know that later on he becomes the human suplex machine. But here we're kind of seeing a kind of an early iteration of that.
Yeah, we know we sort of see it's on its way. His suplexes are already being mentioned. It's already his finisher. I can't wait to see Taz in his prime, because he's one of those guys that obviously in WWF you got to see him. He was great, but
nothing like E.C.W.
No, I mean, you don't really get to see him for that long. You see him longer on commentary, and that's a different fish, really.
Yeah, like when he cuts his hair and he goes like full on, like fuck the world, and he's got like his own fuck the world title, and he's just like 100% badass, man. It's so good to watch.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who has their own fuck the world title.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so then we go back and have a couple cool... Well, yeah, we go to a couple cool ads here. Some lawyers, some Fords.
Yeah, so some of the classics, but mixed in there. The Ford one, I'm a little bit worried because the Ford ad is saying that it's in the final days of the sale, so I think we might be losing our Ford ad soon, and that's quite sad. That
is definitely on the bad side.
Yeah, it's a sad day for Fords right now. No more moving.
So this next part got me kind of confused, because we come back from commercial break, or ad break, whatever you want to call it, and we have 911 and Paul Heyman in the ring. Now, I don't see Ray Odyssey in the ring, so I don't know what happened to him, if him and Taz like hightailed it out of here, but we've got these other jobbers in there for some reason.
Yeah, so, I mean, Joey Styles on commentary, sort of, the hotline number's up, and he's, like, shouting to get rid of the hotline number because something's going on in the ring. And it's kind of like this really weird mess, but makes it feel kind of incredibly authentic.
Yeah,
and, like,
chaotic,
real... Yeah, definitely. And, we cut to the ring, and there's just two guys completely out, and, and the ref, three guys, and 911 and Paulie are in the ring. Just then choke slams follow. Was one of the guys who was down, I thought it was Chris Kanyon again.
It was, yeah.
The tie-dye.
Yeah, it was Chris Kanyon, and the guy that kind of looks like a smaller version of Chris Kanyon, and he had like the kind of like the light blue tights, almost the same thing.
Yeah, but they were just completely laid out, and then got picked up and more choke slams. Paulie was asking who the crowd wanted 911 to choke slam next, and obviously the crowd only wanted the ref to get choke slammed.
They were chanting for Pee Wee, which is the ref. And like 911's holding him, and he's like a rag doll. His head's like bobbing back and forth. And 911 gives him like a good choke slam, and then Paul Heyman comes over to him and shakes his hand while he's like laid out on the ground. He's like a rubber doll.
Yeah, and then we get more choke slams. It looks like Heyman's gonna stop 911 from doing more damage, but it's only because he wants to hit him with his phone first. And
yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, he's asking them who they want to hit, and the crowd's chanting for the referee to get hit. And then when he gets that choke slam, then the crowd chants one more time, so they come back in and do it one more time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from this segment. It seems like 911 is supposed to be this monstrous, chaotic heel,
right?
But the crowd just want him to hurt everyone.
Yeah, it's like this. I don't know if it's just because Heyman's so over that, you know, just with him being with Heyman, the crowd just generally wants to see him do good, or they just want to, just want to see some choke slams or something from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, but it was a cool, chaotic way to end the show. It sold 911 as being just this badass who doesn't follow the rules, he's gonna just take over the show anytime he wants to. And I mean, it's gonna be cool seeing what he's got next going forward, because we don't really know anything about what 911's gonna do after he lost after he lost and came out of the tournament pretty early on in one of the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was definitely like a Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, monster heel type of, clear the ring, chokeslam everybody in sight, get over with the crowd, and kind of establish yourself as a monster going forward.
Totally, and just another character that has been like on pretty much every one of these ECW shows we watch. It's interesting to see how many people get put over in a big way and become more interesting week to week. Like, you see things like, obviously, like the big angles, like Tommy Dreamer becoming this absolute mega star. We get things like this little angle where it's just, here's this guy coming out and being dominant. You get to see Shane Douglas have a match where he just gets to win pretty decisively. And like, everyone just continues to seem more and more important as you go forward, and it's really cool to watch. It's nicer than the sort of normal what we'd be seeing nowadays on Raw and SmackDown, where people just lose all the time, or if they get a win, they're going to lose the next week, and if they do win, it doesn't feel like it really matters. Everything in these ECW episodes we've watched so far feels really important, and everyone feels like they get over because of it.
Yeah, like there's actual continuity and storylines, and like you said, it's not just the champion loses a tag match, or the champion loses to interference. Like, you actually have your champion like beating guys and like looking strong. So it's they do a really good job of like pushing who they want to push, for sure. Yeah,
and I mean, every time we watch, there's just a new character that I'm interested in. Even like, there'll be characters like 911, who we saw as sort of this one-off guy who was kind of cool in that first tournament episode, but not really someone that had a big showcase, and then in this episode you think, oh god, he's going to be a big part of it going forward. That's cool. Or you get new characters entirely, like Ray Odyssey, who end up just really like impressing you in the ring, and even though they have this weird surfer gimmick, and it's like there's a lot to really enjoy and look forward to seeing, or like even if it's just some people we may not see again. Like, I'd be sad if we don't get any more Ray Odyssey, but it also wouldn't surprise me that much.
Storm and Norman.
Or Storm and Norman. Oh.
Yeah. So did you see at the end of this match, kind of the credits roll, and then it leads into this commercial?
Yeah, we didn't see that much of a commercial, but it was some sort of like animated like woodland forest thing going on. Yeah,
it was some kind of like bunny rabbits, some type of like Disney. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty cute.
It was not very ECW though.
I know, you just saw this guy like murder these 3 people, and then it cuts to like an animated clip of like a bunny rabbit and a bunch of like animals. It's so weird.
Yeah, a bit of a disconnect there with the adverts and the show, but I'll take it. And that's where we finish off this week, I guess.
I mean, what are they gonna do? Have ads of like, hey, get your candlesticks here at the hardware store?
I mean, some things I can. I mean, the solo flex ad at least makes some sort of sense. That fits. I mean, it fits more than bunny rabbits or I mean, I guess diet cookbooks kind of fits. I think most of the ads are fairly.
Yeah.
I don't know about wooden log houses, but
yeah, they quite run the gambit of weird commercial choices.
Totally. Yeah,
so
once again.
So just like your, our brother podcast drops, dives, and death matches. You guys do your favorite, wrestler of the week from different promotions. We need to start something similar here, but instead of our favorite wrestler, we need to do our favorite character, like our favorite guy who doesn't fit into the show, but he kind of sticks out.
Okay,
of the episode.
That's a great idea. I like favorite just weird misfit of E.C.W. of the week, and there's a couple of options this week. I mean, Stormin Norman had a serious look that we could go for, but I do think that we probably have to say that this week's pick is Ray Odyssey. Yeah,
as much as I like that haircut from the Stormin Man, I do enjoy the Surfer guy too. I have to agree with you.
Nice. So Outcast Wrestler of the Week is Ray Odyssey for being a surfer in a full wetsuit and going all in on an amazing gimmick that I think will go far.
Yeah. So now next week we have the next episode it's going to be the last episode before the I Quit match between Dreamer and Sandman. So we'll get to see like our last build for that match. We'll get to see Sandman in action. We'll get to see some more Jason Taz. Some Benoit's on that show. We'll also get introduced to the greatest video package ever, featuring Shane Douglas. And
you may have shared this with me already.
Yeah,
and, it's going to be. I'd say it's going to be simply the best.
Yeah, it's pretty much simply the best. I agree with you. Yeah, I can't get over how much I love the use of music in the E.C.W. episodes, whether it's for like promos or entrance music or just coming back from commercial. Like they do even just a normal like recap video. Sometimes they'll put it to like a modern song, and just it's really cool.
Yeah, it really fits. It makes the show just feel fresher. It makes it feel of the time. It makes it feel cooler to be watching.
Yeah, like when you're watching a recap and all of a sudden there's like a, who knows what playing, like a White Zombie or something playing, or a Guns N' Roses song playing while you're watching this recap. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, no, I'm totally in agreement. Really do enjoy it. And I mean, if we've got a Sandman match next week, that could mean something for the music.
Yeah, for sure. We have got our hands full with music next week.
Nice. I mean, it sounds like a stacked episode next week. I'm excited to see what we've got, because we've not really seen that much of Sandman. Obviously, it was Dreamer who was sort of the main focus of that segment last time. Right. So,
yeah, this one we should get to see Sandman in an actual match. So.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't believe we're only a couple of weeks away from the I Quit match, because I imagine that's going to be something pretty special.
Yeah, let's hope so. We've already had a couple really good iconic moments, and I'm surprised like how close together all these moments are. But we've got one coming up that that almost is just as good as the ones we've already seen. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's hard to believe how many huge moments there are in ECW, especially when it's like this is what, our fourth episode we've watched. Like,
right, we've got like 2 or 3 already. Like,
yeah, and it just seems like the hits are going to keep coming, and we're going to keep seeing some just absolutely crazy shit going forward. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to.
Hell yeah, gonna keep it extreme here.
All right, man. Well, you can keep it extreme and get your extreme plugs in if you want here. We're pretty much done.
These plugs are going to be incredibly extreme. You're not prepared. Okay, so you can follow me on Twitter at FishChipsWhips, where I'll talk about wrestling, video games. I'll just sort of plug most things there. You can catch me on Twitch, which I'll also plug on my Twitter, but that's at chips_games, where I'll, play some video games. Dread appears in the chat pretty regularly. John appears in the chat pretty regularly. John being my co-host on Drops, Dives, and Deathmatches, our sister podcast that I'm also on. So if you could check that out as well, that'd be pretty cool. But I think that's everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've got a bunch of other podcasts, so I don't need to name them all here. You can check the description below, though, for links to Chips's Twitch and Twitter, and to all our links below. And if you have a question, like, you can send them into GuiltyasChargedPodcast at hotmail.com. And if you've got like a favorite oddball of the week, or if your favorite song, or if you if you want to link to these commercials, let us know and we'll try and hook you up.
Hell yeah, that sounds like something that I can get behind.
All right, man. Let's get out of here.
Cool. Catch you later.
All right, later, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find the show on all your favorite podcast apps: Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and Spotify. Just search Guilty as Charged. If you want to send us a comment, question, feel free to email us at GuiltyasChargedPodcast@hotmail.com. You can also check out the show over on Twitter, Guilty as Podcast. You can also follow Chips and myself on Twitter and Twitch, and all those links will be in the podcast description below. Have a good night, everybody.